Hi, you've reached the high fashion hotline.
Hi, my family's going to a picnic, but our clothes are stained.
That's quite a pickle.
Ketchup, actually. We want to look amazing.
Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, right now get up to 50% off all tees, all tanks, all shorts, and all dresses at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
All up to 50% off?
Yes, get tees and tanks from $6 for adults, $5 for kids, and dresses start at $15 for women, $10 for girls.
Hey everyone, we're going to Old Navy.
High fashion, Old Navy. Valid 6/21 to 6/27. Excludes clearance jewelry, active, flat tees and tanks, licensed, and men's package tops.
Blog Talk Radio.
Rastafari bless and protect the woman them, you know. You know there's a lot of woman anthem out there. And I just a compare and I humble fly. Give thanks to life. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. Tell the woman them rise. Don't you go down inside. Pull yourself a purchase pride. Don't you go drown inside. Yeah, I'm looking in her eyes. Empress has trodden it wise. This love where she bring can I bring some strength to the king when she warm and she cool and nice. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. I know you get a bad name from them Bible. Them say woman at the beginning of evil, but I lie them I tell crowd of people. Life flow to this woman, she a sample. And now I see the perfect example. This woman, she no fight nor argue. She no take no scissors and cut Samson. And she loyal to the king, woman, I thank you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. Says she's a queen. Yes, Rasta know that. It take her clean, live it if it show that. She take me righteous seed and go grow that. And when it come to bubbling, you know she well hot. 6 days she cook the food in on me pot. And the house ever clean, yeah, without a spot. This works of this woman, it could never stop. So woman, keep your levels them up to the top. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. So tell the woman them rise. Don't you go down inside. Pull yourself a purchase pride. Don't you go drown inside. Yeah, I'm looking in her eyes. Empress are treading it wise. This love where she bring can hide. Bring some strength to the king and she warm and she cool and nice. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak is for you. This is my woman anthem.
Greetings and honor. Well, let me see if this thing will work. More life, Rastafari, I Selassie at first. Well, this is the first one. Rastafari Global Council. Yeah, Lions Den Fam, Barak Tabernacle. Yeah, and it's the I Baraka, a.k.a. Congo Nyah. Yeah, just presenting some serious reason right now with leaders of Rastafari Livity. Right, tonight, as you can see, we have a very, very, very I think we kick it off with a royal empress, cause you know the thing, Rastafari. You know we have full of gentleness and humbleness and righteousness, and we quite happy to meet the woman, the empress, more or less kickstart the show. Now we're gonna talk about some serious issues tonight, obviously. Regarding the progress of Rastafari empresses in leadership, also even issues regarding the family, from domestic violence to the way forward for women in Rastafari, and the way forward for Rastafari also from the heights of a woman. Obviously, we're going to be focusing on some aspects of health and nutrition as well. Let me just see if I have my guests online, just to make sure that all the functions are working correctly. Sister Nigist?
Yes, blessed love.
Okay, all right. It's working all right then. Yes, so we have today, can you introduce yourself, Sister Nigist,
yes,
and tell us what it is that you do, as your interest in Rastafari, what you do for yourself. So, introduce yourself, please.
Okay, sure. I'll first start with the fresh and organic Florida leaf business that I started, because I realized that even in Rastafari, sometimes our health is not up to par. A lot of our elders have died of cancer, they have diabetes and different things like that. And being that I live in Florida, which is considered a sunshine state in America, because we have like 11 to 12 months of sunshine all the time, and I have these trees growing in my yard, from the soursop, mango leaf, avocado, ackee, star jasmine, vine bush, and I take those leaves and make medicine out of them. Medicine like tinctures, or some may know it as elixirs. Show you how to make tonics, and if you want them in vegetarian pills, I could also accommodate that too, because I felt like even not just in Rastafari, but black people in general, their health is gone. So I was prompt to create that business for myself, and also to help, our race of people. So moving on.
All right.
Go ahead.
I know you're going to tell me some more about what you do, but just for the sake of the listeners, some people might not understand. Can you explain what a tincture is, and why you choose the way of a tincture rather than the normal Rastafari way, where you get well, we do have tinctures in Rastafari from ancient, like the herb tincture, but what I mean is, can you explain what a tincture is? And
a tincture
why
is
you
basically.
Go ahead.
Okay. The tincture is basically where you will take 100% alcohol grain alcohol, and that grain could be of rye, corn, wheat, any special grain. And you also may want to use maybe white rum or brandy. I prefer the brandy. And you combine those two, the 100% alcohol grain and the brandy, and you have your leaves, your dry leaves, soursop leaves, star jasmine, vine bush, whatever herb it is that you're trying to make a tincture out of. You have that soaking in this alcohol for 6 weeks or even longer, but 6 weeks is the max. And then you strain that off of the leaves that's been soaking for 6 weeks, and you have your tincture or your elixir. So it just depends what type of herbs you want to use, but that's the easy process. And the natural process is organic. Everything is from the earth, from the alcohol itself, although it's alcohol, but it's 100% 151 overproof. Where you go to like special stores to buy this type of alcohol, you don't just go to your corner liquor store. You have to go to like warehouses that sell these 151 proof alcohol grain.
Okay, and I suppose you can also make a non-alcoholic one as well, right? Using your apple cider vinegar. Go ahead.
Yeah, I can, but I prefer the alcohol because the alcohol also helps transfer the medicinal properties that's within the leaves throughout the body, so it can get into your cells and your tissues and do its job. I'm not saying alcohol. Yeah. The vinegar doesn't do the same thing, but because I know how the alcohol works with the human body and transporting and transferring and things like that, I feel like using the alcohol as your basis is good. Because when people take NyQuil or over-the-counter cough syrups and stuff like that, it has alcohol in it. The same alcohol that's in that is the same alcohol that's in my tinctures, except I don't have all of that dye and chemical stuff that they have in the cough stuff. Mine is just real herbs.
So this is one of your businesses, right? As a Rastafari woman, fill in the gap in what you see that Rastafari has started. So, for example, one of the first Rastafari tincture has been the herbs. So we sort the herbs in our solution, mostly white rum at the time, and bury that with couple pimento, seed and piece of clove and them thing there, and bury that for a couple months and come forward. And I will share with the listeners as well that exact tincture is what cured my asthma when I was a little youth, when no doctor couldn't help I and I. So me give thanks that you as a empress carrying on, expanding on the Rasta tincture making way of life. It is part of the Rastafari way of life, and obviously, I give due respect to hear that I carrying on likewise. I make my tinctures myself too, so obviously, impressed. My favorite tincture is the kola nut and the turmeric, so my liver. So
that sounds so good.
It's excellent. So carry on. I know your introduction of yourself hasn't finished yet. So continue, please.
Okay, so that's the fresh and organic Florida leaf. One could contact me. I'll give my information later on in the show if they're interested in ordering or whatever. So we can move forward on to the radio. December 22nd, 2016, me and the next Empress decided to start our own radio program because there was an Empress named Nanny Mystic who was killed by her kingman through domestic violence. And that kind of hurt me because, I just didn't, not to say it doesn't happen because things happen, but I just didn't expect it to happen in a Rastafari household. And then the story behind it was just so petty and ridiculous. She didn't need to lose her life. So, me and the sister and it was like, let's try and do a program on it. I had asked a radio station there in London. They seemed to be with it and ready to do it when it was time to do it. It didn't happen. So that just prompted us to say, hey, we can start our own thing. And that's what we did. And we did our first program on domestic violence because domestic violence is not only creeping into Rastafari household, but it's been in a lot of our household coming up. I could give experiences of aunties and uncles fighting, my mom and her boyfriend fighting, or her and my dad fight. I could give experiences of that. So, it's not just penetrated on Rastafari, but I was really hurt to see that, such a Irie-looking couple, a lion and a lioness, what could have got between that? Really, what could have got between that he needed to take her life? So Nanny Mystic is the reason why Real Radio Talk is even in existence, to be honest with you. I need to be doing things more in the light of her and, things like that because she's the real reason what pushed me to say, hey, let me just do my own thing because this is an Empress situation and most of the time brethren don't relate. So Empress got to step up and do their thing, and that's what I did.
Yeah, we give thanks and praise, for the Empress that passed, It touched my heart, and domestic violence is something that we're going to talk about tonight as well. And remember when you launched that program, and I definitely did send a big up for touching such a significant issue. Because if the family don't have love, if it's not love in the household, then obviously, there's not going to be much progress in the community anyway. So tonight we're talking about the way forward. We can't ignore touching the family. And I do want to say, even a 3-second silence from everyone across the globe right now while listening to this, just in honor of that Empress.
Yes, Natty Mystic.
So yeah, indeed. And yes, you want to continue on your to tell us some more about you.
Right. So we're doing the radio, and yesterday made the 6-month anniversary. Since we've been ongoing nonstop, bringing some productive shows to the platform. We have some pretty good, strong guests, and we have a good listenership. Internationally speaking, St. Kitts and Nevis, Jamaica, Ghana, France, UK, Russia,
Okay.
Austria,
This
France.
is the real radio talk, right? This is real radio talk.
Yes, real radio talk.
Okay.
And so far we have 1,666 listeners. It should be higher, in my opinion, but I still give thanks for the 1666. That 666.
Okay.
6-month anniversary, 666 inside the listenership.
Yes.
And you you came on the show a few times and blessed up the platform and brought some heavy knowledge, to Real Radio Talk. So we also got to shout you out and give thanks for that.
Well, it's always an honor, and remember, this show is also about working in unity amongst Rastafari. So, cause I want everyone I talk to on this program, I need to know where the mindset is on unity. So, obviously, a bit further on down in the program, I'm gonna need to know where you stand in unity, because obviously I'm ready for unity. If a Rastafari like that. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that I inviting I to touch the show and reason on some topics that I do know very well. It's an honor, and it's an honor to work in unity. As we say, it's good and pleasant. Unity is good and pleasant. And to be good among ourselves is obviously good and pleasant, and that is definitely what Rastafari is projecting. And I'm specifically targeting the leaders. People, when I say leaders, I mean people who go ahead. It's not about people who stand up on people's head. We know the right definition of leader, like as in the words of His Imperial Majesty. It doesn't mean dominion. It's those who go ahead and walk ahead and do the thing, right? Now, the thing about this is, so if a Rastafari like the I doing progressive works, ask I and I if we work in unity or play a role or play a part, then yes, I'm willing, especially on positive platforms that you've created in order for the assistance and the progress of Rastafari. Okay? So,
oh yeah.
Is there anything else you want to tell us about your works and who you are?
Well, recently I was offered a position in a campaign called Edge, based out of Ghana, to be a co-director. And of course, I said yes, I accept, because it's all about unifying, And the director or the CEO, she'll call in later on when she has time. She said she can probably she'll give more information on the campaign, but I can just give a little brief dialogue on exactly what I'll be getting into and the type of projects that I'll be involved in. So I'll just start with the type of campaign it is. It's a development expertise campaign where they go international, and that could be still in the continent of Africa, but to another country international, like South Africa or Ethiopia or something like that. And they advocate on a wide range of issues, including women and girls' rights, reporting, rights based on women empowerment and financial support, socio-political security and conflict management, international relations, things like that. And the hands-on project that she has currently ongoing is not like something she's trying to start. She's trying to organize to get these things off and running. It's already happening. She's already been to like 25 countries throughout the continent of Africa doing these campaigns and doing these projects. So it's effective and it's working. So the hands-on project would be more like agriculture, backyard garden program where she goes into the rural areas and into the villages and teach the women, or not teach them because they already know, to remind them that they can plant their food and then barter with one another. Everybody don't have to plant cabbage. One can plant cabbage, the next can plant tomato, and then y'all switch like that. And you don't have to go to the market every day and buy food. You can be planting your food and eating your food from your yard, and that'll cut off those financial expenses that you're paying the market, where you can be growing for yourself. So she done that, and it's working. And now these women are talking about they want to do commercial farming now, large-scale agriculture. So just from the backyard garden, that is inspiring them to want to take it to a more of a large scale, because they're already healers and nurturers anyway. So once they put their hands in the earth and start planting the seeds and cultivating it, they see their food growing, and then they know their potential that they can take that to a larger scale. It doesn't necessarily have to stay in their backyard. So that's just one of the programs. And it's, just to remind them about the traditional gardening and poultry farming, like the ones that eat chicken and beef and things like that, how to organically grow your chickens, feeding them grains and nuts, not nuts, but feeding them grains and marigolds, vegetarian-style type of diet for the chickens, because that's really how they're supposed to be eating. So she's there doing that. And that program is called ByGard, BYGARD. Then she has another program that I'll be hands-on with, and it's called Three Square Meal Project. And that project encourages and implements healthy diet and eating habits, pretty much to show them, like, if you only have 3 people in your family, you really don't need to cook for 6 or 9 people unless you're sharing the food with your neighbors or a homeless person. But to cook for 6 people when only 3 people is eating, and then you don't eat it again the next day, you end up wasting it, or you'll give it to the animals to eat. That's not really making any sense. So, it's just like a leaking hose. The more you put in, the more it just leaks out. So she's trying to show them that, no, you have a 3-family household, you cook for 3 people.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a mathematics and a science behind the whole 3 Square Meal Project. And then also they need to start back remembering how they used to eat more healthier. They used to eat more fruits and vegetables. They wasn't running to the market so much and getting all the processed things like they're doing now, and getting sicknesses that they weren't getting 20 and 30 years ago.
Yes. I mean, I do. Obviously, that is one of the first trade of a Rastafari. We already know, as people who've been in the liberty a while, that is farming, agriculture, and in accordance with the teachings of His Majesty. Yeah, so we're fully aware also that agriculture is going to be the foundation to wealth. And any form of thing where we talk about nation or, self-determination. Because obviously we can't continue, and Rastafari used to get a lot of stick for this in the early days, how we never used to eat this and we never used to eat that. And as we move on, a lot of people who get sick, then turn back to the Rastafari diet. And Rastafari being a success system and moving forward in today's world, we would have to still carry agriculture, as still the foundational trade of Rastafari. So I give thanks for that word sound, and that is true leadership, working and continuing the one of the main trades of a Rastafari, one of the foundation. It's like a standard trade throughout, being a farmer, agriculture, I-till, and eating without eating the preservatives that cause enough of them blood pressure, and even one of my family them have a stroke, and it's through the food and these preservatives were in the food why we do always I get sick. And what can we really do in life without your health? So it sound positive to I and I still. Is there any more your works you want to share with us? What you do?
Yeah, well, there's another project that I'll have hands on. There's maybe like 4 or 5 different projects, but I just jotted down 3 important ones. So there's the next one called LWUS Stand Project. And this project empowers women skillfully to give them a secure financial support and sustainable development in Africa.
Oh.
So now what they'll be doing is, one could say, I'm a seamstress. So that project is there to help them exercise that seamstress talent and that skill, and then turn that skill into a job.
Okay.
So it's more like a job training, workforce skill, and all-in-one project. Right. Because they all have something to offer. Trust me, talent and skill. A cook, a seamstress, a hairdresser, the farmer, whatever. There's something an African woman is going to know how to do. So that project is to gear them into businessship, building an economy for the business that they are trying to create. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. And it's like employment creation as well, so that, and
that's right.
The employment creation is going to be important in moving forward, because if people can't work and make a living, then it's going to cause us to be in distress and in a position where man don't want to be in. I mean, I actually share the opinion that one of the main reasons that enough of our children go astray to do crime and these things is because we never created a means of employment. We never show them a way that when they leave
to earn their own money.
Yeah, how to earn their own money in a positive way. How to start a business, how to utilize the skills they have, and what rather than otherwise they're gonna turn to. They're trying to hustle. They're going to go out there and see an easy way to make money, and it's quite obvious what they're going to pick, right? And but that is another trick for the youths, because obviously, they're going to lose a lot of them life, either them life physically or them life spend them life in behind bars, So obviously, that's a very positive project. Still, it's on to I and I. That sound well up full, and we give thanks to sisters like you take an active role in assisting in these projects, so that our people can have a more in-depth community, a community that is more active on several levels, So. Yeah. So is there any other things that you want to... I actually want to add something, because I know that you are, you're more or less a professional, an expert at women's health. And,
I try to be.
You've submitted a couple of writings to the RasTafari Global Council, I remember, several years ago. As a part of our RasTafari 2.0 project, giving information and bringing information from some of the Rastafari intelligentsia. And those writings were actually, I think were very, very, very interesting, very informative, and actually a lot of things are in there that I didn't even know myself. So, I do give thanks to those kind of writings, and I hope to see the final product of the book soon. When are we going to see the book to some of those female health writings that we do have?
Oh, you know what? It's divine that you even bring up the book, because the ownership of Edge is doing a book on the divinity of the black woman as well. And me and her was just reasoning on that last week that we could incorporate our writings in this book. So I was just giving her some key points on the stuff that I'm talking about in my book that I should be finishing, and then she was telling me little things about hers. So I was like, yeah, we should combine it together, and have like a catalog dialogue type of thing,
Oh.
And you just mentioned the win, so that's going to be in the making soon. Definitely, it's going to be in the making soon.
Well, Unity's strength. It's on positive, and maybe by what you say, maybe by Winter Solace this year.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna finish.
It could happen.
You're gonna finish the book by Winter Solace, yeah? You don't have a timeline.
And you got me on air with that commitment. Yes, by December 22nd, 2017, definitely try by the strength of the ancestors that happens.
Well,
Empress Menin's strength is definitely going to be in the midst of it happening. Because it's her, too. Empress Menin is really the reason why I even got into the woman like that,
Okay.
So I'm going to try. I will try. And being that it's two of us now, so we have more information. You know what I'm saying? So it could happen. I'm always optimistic.
Well,
you know me.
Okay. All right. Obviously, the reason why I'm very anxious about that book, because obviously I've read some of the information in there, and I'm thinking that this to share. A light never hid under a bed, and I've seen some of these writings years ago. So, I would definitely feel that you have something definite to share to Rastafari empresses and kings of today and children, and the sooner them get it, maybe it might help, in many. I know it will help, but we not control the will of others. So, I wanted to ask, since you mentioned Empress Menen, obviously, I want to know what is, how do the empresses, Rastafari Empress, view Empress Menen, and how is it? What is it that how you gather the strength, and what is it that you see, and what is it that the woman, the empresses do reason about? What is the main things and the main qualities, and how do you see Empress Menen?
Well, Empress Menen is a true definition of a real woman. We have everyone, any female could be a woman, but I'm talking about a real woman. She stood by her man. She kept the balance, even with her being 10 years older than him. And when I read some of his speeches and his writings, it sounds like her influences was there. Like she said, yeah, babe, add that in. You know what I'm saying? Put this there. Say it like this. You can tell. You can really tell by the way she speaks, how he speaks, sound alike, but just worded in a little different way, whatever the topic may be. Mm-hmm. And I just, I think that she shows the epitome of what a man and a woman supposed to be.
Okay. So tell us some of the works of Empress Menen, and how her lineage. Give us a little history on Empress Menen, if you don't mind.
Well, from my own personal research, I gathered that she comes from an Islamic background, and she converted into the Christianity faith per marrying King Selassie.
Okay.
So just
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is her correct title? How do you say the name of Empress Menen? Title and full name. What is it?
I gravitate to Empress Menen Asfar the First.
Okay.
Because, like I said, she has the Islamic background, but Asfar is more on the Islamic side in vocabulary language than it would be Ethiopian.
Okay. Now, all right. You see, All right. So you have some guests
But
that's
people
coming
address
in.
her differently. Yeah, people
Go
address
ahead.
her differently, and that's fine. But, Empress Menen, as far the first, that's what my soul connects to with her. And the other names too, don't get me wrong, but I always, if you notice, like the Facebook page I have in honor of Empress Menen is spelled Empress Menen as far the first. The Facebook group, that's just my vibration with it. I don't want to debate and argue with anybody over, oh, no, her name's supposed to be this because after this her name changed to that, blah, 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 blah. You can have many names. Come on now, as we're coming up, you have your barn name, you have your nickname, you have your name that your auntie call you. You know what I'm saying? I have like 4 or 5 different nicknames growing up. But everybody knew that name was me,
Yeah. I'm feeling it.
But
No,
I don't want to.
I want to.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. I wanted to touch.
No, I just saying I don't want to make it seem like it's a name issue.
No, I want to touch quickly on the Rastafari woman now. Like, what is her interest? What is it that what does she think? What is her what how does she what does she think her role is? What is it that she's thinking? What is her interest? And then I'm going to ask you about Then I'm gonna answer that. I'm gonna ask you about the issues that Rastafari women face, and and then we'll go into the domestic violence. So if you can tell me about the role of the Rastafari woman, what is she thinking at the moment? What is her interest? What has she been observing regarding the Rastafari liberty, especially considering that, a lot of kings are, a bit bold and, talkative and loudmouth, and the woman might get outshadowed sometimes. So I just want to hear, what is it that the woman is thinking? What is the Rastafari woman thinking? What's she interested in? What is it that she is, what are her issues, and what does she say are the solutions, and what's the way forward from the perspective of the Rastafari woman?
Well, she's definitely seeking balance, and for her king man to be there on all levels, and I think that's missing. I know that's missing. There's a lot of empresses that are raising children by themselves, and the brethren has moved on and doing what he's doing.
Okay.
So she's seeking that balance. She's seeking that father, mother household, the family, because that's what Rastafari represents. That's what I see when I see Selassie and Empress Menen. I see the family foundation. And anywhere throughout Africa, that's what you're going to see, a king and a queen and a family and a community.
Okay.
So that's what she wants. She just wants that king man to be just as faithful to her as she is to him. Unless they have a polygamous overstanding, and then that's different. That's their household, that's their personal business. But if they're, if they're husband and wife, baby mother, baby father, whatever, you living under the same roof, there's supposed to be a family unit vibration moving in that household. There's never supposed to be a moment where she feels she can't speak. Because if she speaks, he's going to get offended because he's not into the stuff she's speaking about. Like Kemet, for instance. Some sisters relate to Kemet, their brethren can't.
He's not into?
Into Kemet.
Well,
Some
I
sisters
think I
are
lost
into Kemet.
our host.
Huh?
No, indeed. I mean, I think the host will come back soon. But that's significant, it's just to hear that the woman is interested in her family. Even if you think from, the most women, across the world, maybe, especially in cultural areas like in the Caribbean and stuff like that, women do grow up, thinking about their family from even before they're teenagers, I think women probably females probably mature quicker than males a lot of the times. Because sometimes when you're younger, when the boys them hear about marriage, they run. When they hear about
Bless. Sounds like I'm not connected, but the line is still running.
Yes, 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 yes. I think that there's probably some sabotage, I guess, and a little bit of I think I want to see. Nigist, are you there? Nigist?
Yes, I'm here. I don't know if my mic is on.
Rastafari bless and protect.
I'm here. I think my mic is off.
Greetings.
Yes,
How about
blessings.
now? All right. So after that little gap there, I think this issue that we was gonna talk about now, I think I wanted to touch domestic violence, right?
Yes.
So was there about the invitations to your guests, right? So you can let them know that the link is there, or you can send it to them as well, the same link that you have. Okay.
Right. I did. One of them just told me that.
So now that
it seems like the internet is down. So she wasn't able to connect, so I think she's going to just call in.
Okay, no problem. All right. Now, since there's been a gap in this audio for some reason, I know I might have to download it and cut that gap. But let's continue. Especially for those who are still tuned in. Can you, talking about domestic violence, I know you did a program on it as well. So can you touch some of the main things that came out of your program and with the panel that you was reasoning with, some of the main things that were discussed, and especially we really want to talk about solutions. But obviously, let's just touch what the situation looks like out there, because this is a very under discussed topic, and I think that even this topic there has to be a high level of education on it, a high level of understanding, and a high level of monitoring to ensure that, especially for Rastafari people, that there's no errors in this. You've just told a horrific story regarding a Rastafari empress that who's been killed by her kingman, and I'm sure that there's probably more stories like that, So, can you tell me what's this? What's causing this thing? Why is it so common? Not only among Rastafari, but obviously this is the Rastafari Global Council, and this is a Rastafari works I and I deal with, and a Rastafari interest I and I deal with, because I know that Rastafari people have a heart to work on behalf of, the liberation of all Africans, and also, the good of all humanity, So I do recognize that it's not only Rastafari, but I want to talk about, the issue. How did it arise? What's really happening, and what are some of the recommendations that I can suggest? Domestic violence.
what's really happening. There's a lot happening. A lot of times, people get into relationships, I would say, for the wrong reason. And when you do that, you create a hayrodic atmosphere for yourself. And over time, it festers, and those little evil intentions and emotions build up, and they build up over time. And when there's that breaking point, that's when the domestic violence happens. Because for Nanny Mystic's situation, just to make this clear, I didn't even know who she is. How I knew who she was is that her death was posted on the Facebook. Hold on for a second.
Yeah. Imagine that. The issue of domestic violence, we have to understand. As I think we're not going to pretty up this thing, because I want to talk about domestic violence in a raw way. You have to understand, an empress get killed. An empress get killed, and some people out there right now, even listening to this program, I do it. And I know. Even the people and where I listen to this program and I do it, I want them to listen keenly, because you must find your way out. And I know that the problems in the world are going to be fixed by our self-cultivation. Like when people sing songs about be the change you want to see in the world. I want to see people doing better from this moment. Especially Rastafari. Come on, the leaders, Rastafari, people, and people who go around calling yourself by that name. There has to be some stamp and some seal and some wordiness. The day a person decides to call himself a Rastafari, the day that they connect with this levity and this way of life, and these philosophies and ideals that I and I create in our liberation, in our step towards liberation. Now, there's certain things that we can't tolerate any mistakes in. Certain things that we can't tolerate being called around the Rastafari name. Right? So, really and truly right now, touch it for me, please. Let me know what it is that was discussed. What are some of the main issues? Why it has started? And then we go into how we can solve this.
Yeah, so that's basically some of the gist of what really be happening is with the domestic violence. And a lot of times we're not mature yet. We think we are, but we're really not. And we do things in a haste, don't wait, and all those different things. And then the woman might take off in her career, like in Nanny's situation, and the husband will feel kind of vexed and jealous behind that. Instead of unifying with her and adding on to, what she already started and got going, he's evil eyeing her. And that shouldn't be there in a Rasta household. That should never be in any household, but especially Rastafari, because we always talking about love. And this is your woman that you have children from, and yet there's jealousy. I don't get it. And that led to the domestic violence. They said he was very jealous and very possessive. So that led to him killing her.
Okay, so you have problems.
So I'm not just coming up with a hypothesis. I'm talking about something that happened. This is not a theory.
Yeah.
I'm talking about something that really happened. He was jealous. And I didn't think that Rastafari will take it to such a degree to be jealous of your own woman that you have youth from and everything. She's big in her career. That's benefiting you. Most of y'all are balancing this. Why should that even be a problem? Add on to what she's already doing. Pick up the guitar to make her music sound better, or get the piano, or get the violin and make her music sound better, but you sitting back hating and jealous? That's a sickness. Jealousy is a sickness. I say it all the time. That is a sickness.
So what else is causing
Jealousy
this?
is domestic violence. Jealousy is domestic violence. Malice is domestic violence. Envy and hate. Evil-minded people. That's domestic violence. Because domestic violence doesn't just start with slapping somebody, and that's domestic violence. Domestic violence could be verbally. You don't literally have to put your hands on someone.
Yes.
Anything pertaining to violence.
Yeah, the context
put
of
names in front of it. It's still violence. They put domestic. They put this type of violence. It's still violence. Violence is always the last word. Whatever, how many words they have in front of violence, violence is always the last word. So it's still violence.
I mean, yeah, you have domestic violence has a wide definition. To be honest, yes, indeed, and domestic abuse, and it does stem from to issues such as arguing, and then again, I think that also, and a lot of the time, some of these things happen right in front of the children, and this is where
all the time. That's when it gets funky. When the children is listening, then you really want to go off now because you want the children to hear how bad one another is.
So you're saying that even with children around, it fuels even more?
Yeah, they get more hype because now they want the children to see. The mom wants the children to see dad is bad, and dad wants the children to see mom is bad. So they're both cutting up in front of the children. But when you talk to the child, oh, mommy and daddy always arguing, I can't take it. They don't care about neither one of them. So while they're trying to impress, snatching the child away from one another because of their personal issues, the child is still analyzing it on his own. And he might be forced to go be with mommy or daddy, but he still got his own definition and analogy of what he's experiencing. And then when you talk to most of the children, and even grown-ups that experience that growing up, what do they say? They always argue. I got tired of that, and they would argue over nothing. I know it. So, yeah, that's definitely an issue. It's a problem.
So you're saying that we're missing, the parents, are missing the impact that their lack of cultivation is causing on their children, their next generation.
Oh, yes. While they're trying to win the child's heart over, all they're doing is giving that child an opportunity to make a sound decision and see both of these parents are crazy. A lot of times the children don't want to go to the mother. They want to go be with the dad. And the mother get mad and say, no, you're not going to live with him. You're going to stay with me. Instead of letting the child go live with the dad. Not to say that you got to listen to everything your children tell you to do, but if they're telling you that they want to live with their mom or their dad, you got to honor that. You got to respect that because that's gonna determine his behavior in school, his behavior throughout life. You know what I mean? He's being forced to do something he doesn't want to do. He's going to be rebellious all the time. That's not going to be a happy child growing up, okay? And he's going to get rebellious. Trust me.
Well, yes, I think we can make it clear to anyone listening that yes, arguments, throwing abuse at each other in any form is going to have a significant impact on the child. Yeah? It's something that we should keep in our awareness, obviously, right? And as you said, pointed out before, I think a lot of arguments and things start by petty, simple, petty things, which,
all the while,
especially for us.
I was a contributor to the petty arguing. I'm not going to lie and act like I'm all perfect and I can analyze the perfect relationship. I was just like that. That's why I'm able to tell you where a lot of this stuff comes from.
Yes, true. Likewise. The thing about it here is it's about growth. We have to be able to grow, and we have to realize, like Marcus Garvey said, we have to learn from the mistake of others and not just always go and make the same mistakes. Like if you can see that how the development of domestic violence, and you can see that it's caused the ruin of families, It's caused children who are affected by this to choose gangster life, to choose rebellion, to choose not to learn, because a house that is having a lot of arguments, obviously the child not gonna want to learn nothing. He's not gonna feel comfortable when he even say mommy and daddy link. You see? So
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, let's just get to the point, because it's wherever it starts from.
You know what the problem is? We act like. Let me tell you what's another problem. Another problem is we act like just because we're not together, we can't be beautiful parents. We can't be excellent parents. Some of the best parents are divorced parents. Okay? Let's be real with it. Some of the best parents are divorced parents. We don't even give it a try. You immediately want custody. You immediately want this, and then we don't even try to make it work. Say, okay, we're not going to be together. We over that. Well, we got to have some type of understanding and respect with one another so these children can grow up healthy and say, well, at least my mom and dad didn't do this and they wasn't together. And you're supposed to be able to feel comfortable with your children around his woman and vice versa. He's supposed to be comfortable with his children around another man, because you have to trust and know that she's not going to put her children in harm's way. And the woman has to know that too. But there's always that foolishness. I don't want my children around that B. I don't want my children around their children. It's always that.
Mm-hmm.
And that creates a domestic violence too, because a man will get fed up hearing you talking about you don't want to be around his children, or you don't want his children coming around yours and their brother and sister. You rather them not know each other and then be dating when they get older because they don't know they related. Then let them know who they are. You don't have to know the mother and be her friend, but the children, they want to know who their brother and sister is. I know I always wanted to know mine. So parents is still immature. Like I said, we're still immature. We're not growing up. Broken households for over these 30 generations has really messed it up. Really messed up the black household in general. So domestic violence is just like the newspaper. It's like the newspaper being delivered at your house every day. You know that's going to come every day. So you know domestic violence is going to strike a black family some way.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. We have
nowadays
we have
women are beating the man up.
Excuse me?
I said nowadays women are beating the man up.
Mm.
So can you? So you tell him, all right. Women are beating the man up.
Yes, they are.
Right, because often, in with domestic violence,
and then call the police and tell the police that he hit her.
Because in domestic, when we talk about domestic violence and domestic abuse, the mind automatically goes to the male role in this, because obviously the male is said to be strong and these things. So, and usually, it's quite more. I'm sure I don't have official statistics before me at the moment, but I do safely think I can say that a lot of the domestic abuse have been mostly attributed to men, right? And obviously, for you to say that, women are playing a physical role, not just using, women have a lot of words they can use. Like a woman can backchat easily, better than a man 10 times. Yeah. So we know that exists, but with a woman physically attacking a man, and beating him up, or even just giving him a slap and him get irritated and him retaliate. These things are serious issue. I mean, it can't go on either way. Whether the woman started or the man started, it can't. It's not supposed to happen, right? So, why do you think the woman reached to that stage that she start to lash out, probably even without being
right? Are you hearing me clear?
Yeah, come true now.
Okay, so when we did the first program, one of the co-hosts at the time was talking about his experience with domestic violence, And his answer is probably going to be my answer because I understand where he's going, is that he never grew up in a household with the domestic violence. You know, his mom always had decent boyfriends and things like that. She never brought any kind of man around him in his system. But his baby mother wasn't like that. She obviously grew up around domestic violence and fighting. So when she gets mad at him, she felt like she can just haul off and slap him in the face. And he's not accustomed to seeing his mom being beat up or his mother beating someone up to retaliate and hit her back, so he just takes the blows. You know what I'm saying? But then it gets to that point where, you know, I got to get you off of me. Because now you're going to get comfortable thinking you can just hit me and I don't do anything back to you. So, you know, sometimes the household that you was raised in, and then you bring it into your relationship because now you want to dominate your man because you saw your grandmother or your mother being very dominant.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of women that come from old school teaching, they're very strong-minded and very strong-headed, and their daughters grow up seeing that. Sometimes it's a good thing, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times it's not.
Yes, sir.
Because they can't keep a relationship with that attitude.
All right. Hold on, Bridget. Yeah? I unmuted you, but I'm going to bring you in 1 second, yeah? Give me a couple minutes. No, yes, I have a caller on the line. I'm going to bring him in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I wanted to say was, are you saying that some people, right, like say for example, depends on if you grow up not having the father around, not having the mother around, or having having a home of violence or having a home of peace, are you saying that this affects you in your own personal relationship? So are you saying that there's some people who are more prone to act in a certain way or to act violent in a domestic situation?
Yes.
In niggas?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly.
So are we saying that we should actually be aware of where we're coming from, what type of family we're coming from, even in entering into a relationship? So, like for example, you know, someone might be more at risk of behaving a certain way, and because they're aware of that, they put an extra reminder to their self, to their being, to their mind, that not to fall into these issues, because obviously no one really domestic violence, we have to at least say it's unwanted. Yes? So no one never went into a relationship wanting to go into violence. So it has to be something that more or less is an uncontrollable situation, or is a situation where they can't easily control. Right? So if one is aware that they say come from a violent family and is now entering into a relationship, then if that is the catalyst for someone, you know, taking simple things and creating a war over it, then shouldn't that person be in their own self, check their own self and be a little more vigilant in their own behaviors and set reminders in their own behaviors not to act in the way how they've probably seen their own parents act? Am I making sense to you, niggas?
Yes, perfect sense. Perfect sense. And I totally agree with you. I do.
Okay. I mean, the caller has gone. I hope you call back in.
Yes. Some of them can't wait. They want you to open their line immediately when they appear on the switchboard. They don't understand that it's a program actually running, so Can't wait. You can't wait. It is what it is.
Well, it's a reasoning with Nigist, Saba, Khet, and a Rastafari leader, meaning a Rastafari empress that has taken an active role in trying to sort some of the issues them that Rastafari and our community do face in general. So obviously we need to hear your version of events quite speedily. All right, like how we are cut on time. Solution. Cause wherever it starts, whatever cause it, what a catalyst, it will definitely take more than a little piece of this program here to touch this. So it's a big, big topic. So can you just run through some of the solutions that you may have come up with in your last program or in your research of the matter?
I think that to find solutions with that whole domestic violence thing, you just have to know.
Can you come a bit closer?
No.
I think it's on a little bit far.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think firstly, both sides need to know themselves. They know what they're getting into in the relationship. And any little baggages that's being brought into the relationship, if they can't be talked out and sorted out and it keeps repeating itself, then don't feel ashamed. Don't feel embarrassed. Don't worry about what people are going to think in their opinion. To leave. Not kill, leave. Not slap or punch, leave. It's so easy to just walk away. Everything has its time and its course. So maybe that was the time frame and it's up now and it's time to part ways. And you learn from that negative and that positive experience. There's nothing wrong with saying, even though that was a bad experience, I learned from it. Because if you ain't learn from it, you're going to keep repeating it. But to say you learn from it, that's a step forward to never go backwards again. And then the next time you go into a relationship, you're going to know what to look for. You're going to know what not to accept, what to accept. You're going to put down who you are. You're going to let that mate know this is what I stand for. This is what I don't stand for. And if you see there's no compatibility and it can't work out, you got to see it before you get involved, though. You can't have children and then be living together, doing all these fabulous things together, and then you start finding out. Then now you want to know this about him or this about her. No, know these things before. So that way you're cutting out all that other foolishness. Unless you just like an up and down foolish relationship, then fine, do you. But if you're in that domestic violence situation, you have to see the red flags before the hand raised. Nobody can tell me you don't. Because if you don't see it, then that means you ain't in tune with self again, so you got to get back into yourself. So that way you can see when something is harmful for you and be able to detach away from it. Because there's nothing like loving yourself first. You got to love you first before anybody can say, I love you. They got to see you love you too. And I'm not a relationship expert, but I just know from personal experiences. I have 2 children. Now I have 2 granddaughters, So I've been in relationships. I understand it. I know how it goes. I think everybody been through a domestic violence, small, big, whatever. You tussled a little bit. You fought. You did this,
All right. But more than often, though, right, the thought might come to the person to leave, but because of maybe some investment in the relationship, maybe children or, some kind of investment or some love or some emotional attachment, they choose to continue. They say sorry, and someone says, and then it's waiting for the next issue, right? So wouldn't counseling be a option, or say family intervention? Say I think probably happen in relationships where like say for example the woman doesn't have a strong connection with her father, and our uncles and our brothers, who, because maybe some men actually do take advantage of that. And maybe also, on the flip side, where you have a good man and a woman who is a bit, violent, then maybe family intervention can mean that you have couple aunties and things have a reason with her and make her know, listen, he's a good man, you see, him never raise him auntie you and think, why just or give her a reason from another perspective, some kind of counseling or some kind of family support, might be help to alleviate things. So maybe like uncles and, we should be interested in one another's life then, because then our uncle should know if your niece then with a man or something, then, you visit, pass through, let them know you love your niece. Dads, look out for your daughters when they're married. Don't just say, she married now and she has sort herself out. I think, and grandma for visit and everybody to invite you around for dinner and, so that, and if anything happens, then obviously uncle have to come around and show, and nephews and have to come around and show support. It's not always just come back and beat up the man or whatever, but come and show some support and see issues before them happen. Because remember, some are way more experienced. Some uncles and moms and grandmas who's been through it and probably know that their child would be prone to it because that's what they see. Why not continue? Because, being a grandparent don't mean that your thing done. Don't mean say you can go up and, obviously you get more freedom, but you're still a parent. Right? And you know the life that you have exposed your children to. So you get an extended duty because of your errors to carry on parenting even when your daughter or your son married and play an interest in it, because the interest that you pay can help and assist if there's any issues, and stop issues before they affect your own grandchildren, your own grandnieces, your own nephews, and these things, and nieces, right? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So counseling and family intervention, if they're invested in that relationship, could actually probably be a option just from my head still. I mean, you probably discussed that on the program as well, but I think that some people can't handle power, and when they're in a situation where the woman don't have no brothers and things, they just like chat to her like anyway and start the war. So, is there any more solutions that you can that you can think of?
I do like the solution that you said about the counseling and intervention as far as going to your auntie or your favorite uncle or grandma, some elder in your family that's highly respected that you can go to and get counsel from. That will give you the right information, tell you how to deal with it, tell you if you should stay, if you can go.
Yeah. Because really, when two people come together, it's one family that now, right? So the other side of the family too, we should try to get more comfortable with family. So you're marrying into a family. You're marrying into you're becoming a part of that community. So it'd be good for everyone to try to build a relationship with each other, so that we can have people speaking out and giving an objective view and intervening. And these things might be a good prevention still. The more I think about it, and I think that some of us might do these things naturally, but some of us who don't, it's just us to put that in. Right? So if I can move on, unless there's anything else you want to say about this, right? I want to move on to, all right. Go on.
No,
Was there anything else you want to say on the topic? If there's anything else
No, domestic violence, that topic never really ends. You know, so we just
true.
we put a period there and we continue the next chapter another time.
All right, then. Now, regarding, all right, obviously we can move simply on to the health of the woman, you know. It's not healthy for her to be in any form of, you know, domestic abuse or violence, right? So, you know, tell us the foundation, the main principles, and the main things that women have to watch out for when it comes to health, wellness, and their nutrition. Because I know that it's not Rasta woman, but many other women take birth control, mash up them womb, give them cysts and all kind of issues in their womb some years later, right? You know, one little point too, yeah? Let me just go, I want to go backward before we go forward, yeah? Because, you know, regarding the domestic issue, when I talk about family, I just realized as well, some men, and even women too, actually deliberately cut or subconsciously try to cut the woman from the family. So somehow you're in a new relationship. So I think that when you're in a relationship and you find that your man or your woman somehow don't want you to keep contact with your family, that's a red light. Because then no, you're gonna be on your
just
own.
like you don't want to be around my children. That's the same as, you know, my family, especially if the family is righteous, they're genuine.
That's right. That's a red light right there. So anyway, moving on. The woman needs to be healthy. We're talking about the woman specifically because you're a Rastafari woman and you are lead with the health and the nutrition and the wellness, you know, the success of the woman, of the Rasta woman, yeah? Rastafari woman living a successful life, yeah? Coming out of some of the negativity now, and she's going to be healthy now. She not get no abuse. The Rastafari king nah disrespect her because I'm wife that I'm second, yeah? Right? So our wellness and our health is important. So obviously I can just throw in one. I'm sure she has to exercise, right? Health. So what is the foundation of health and wellness and nutrition for the woman? What do they need to observe? What are the main things that a woman needs to have in her life as a Rastafari woman?
She definitely needs to have nature in her life. You have to tap into nature. You have to. You can't be afraid of the sun, the beach, walking barefoot, planting flowers, cutting the grass, whatever. You have to go into nature, go into the woods, watch the birds, see how they come close to you because they feel in your vibe. Comedic yoga, that's not also good for meditation, but
Yes, yeah, that sounds very, very, very attractive. Carry on.
Right. So comedic yoga is not only good for meditation, but it's also good for your internal organs because most of the postures are postures for a particular organ, sending that vital life force energy into the body. And then you're getting your breathing in practice, so you're getting more oxygen into your lungs. You're not halfway breathing, you're giving a full breath because you're doing that constant in and out breathing through your nose, not your mouth, through your nose. And this is happening through the whole process of practicing comedic yoga. So if you're doing a 2-hour session, this is what you'll be doing for 2 hours. Having your breathing in check, your postures in check, and then you're feeding these organs. Lots of women needs to tap into that science more often because in the beginning it really wasn't going on, but now consciousness has really risen to a pinnacle where a lot of sciences and things is coming out and people are doing more research and seeing that that's our African science anyways from our ancestors. There's nothing wrong with doing comedic yoga. It deals with your health. And as far as Rastafari is concerned, Haile Selassie spoke on yoga in 1967 in Calcutta, India. Calcutta, however they pronounce it. And he said if it wasn't for yoga and its various stages, imagine how poorer, okay, the Western mind would be.
Okay.
So if it wasn't for yoga and its various stages, those things I just mentioned, the stages that your body is going through, healing you, esoterically, physically, emotionally, all of that is getting in tune. Your chakras, your aura is clean. You're getting this auric toxins out of you. And he said, imagine how poor the Western mind would be. So how about that one?
Yeah.
So if a Western woman reads that quote, like me, when I read it, I felt good going to Kemetic yoga every Sunday morning for free at 8 o'clock on the beach and going to full moon yogas on the beach here in South Florida. So I'm getting the best of all these worlds. I'm getting the best of all worlds.
Yes.
Haile Selassie, not because I read him saying that. That made me do Kemetic yoga because I was doing it before I came across that. But in the process of me starting Kemetic yoga and reading what Haile Selassie said, it just confirmed to me that you're doing the right thing. Don't worry about what no other Rastafari want to say, that's pagan, blah, blah, blah. It's about your health at the same time, getting your mental capacity in tune. Because we are not in sync like we're supposed to be. Our frequencies are very off. People are vibing on a very low frequency, even though they rocking red, gold, and green, red, black, and green. I don't even want to get started on that, but I'm just saying we need to rise up our vibration as Rasta woman and as a black woman, African woman, Ashanti woman, whatever tribe you want to dedicate yourself to. That woman needs to be risen up. She needs to be that phoenix again, that eagle, that falcon.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, because we naturally heal.
Yeah. So she got the Kemetic yoga as a part of her life now. This royal princess, right? This royal empress and this royal Rastafari woman.
She can see it as divine, and if she can see the connection with Rastafari and Kemet, if she can see it and see and feel it in her heart, her third eye just, thrives when she's into Kemet teachings. She has to feel it like that, because if not, it's going to be pagan. It's going to be separate. They're not going to even think Haile Selassie even said something like that. Because I say it to a lot of people, and their eyes get big. I know they think I'm lying, and I can't carry the book that I have when he said it all the time. So I'm just like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you, but he even took pictures in front of the pyramid. Will that help? When he had the shades on in front of the pyramid, smiling? Come on. He even said that his lineage is older than David and Solomon. Okay, from Ori. Ori was one of the Kemetian kings. So, it's time to sit down with that foolishness and get real with it, because it's here. It's in your face. You can't deny it no more. You can't run from it. In the John Hug book, I think it was volume 7, I think, he was Haile Selassie saying at 15 that he liked the Book of the Dead and the Book of Isis. That was, he favored and marveled in those books and things. So he's reading on Isis. Yep, sure was. While you walking around here talking about fire burn. So, yeah, we need to open up ourselves more to our African, ancestral traditions that were set before we even knew to say Rastafari still. Because Kemet didn't say Rastafari like we do, but we know Kemet is Rastafari. You know that.
Yes. So the woman now, she's keeping herself connected with nature. That means that she's have her little garden going. She's walking on the beach, as you say. She's walking barefoot and these things. She's also embracing her ancient exercises and that bring energy into the vital organs, which the breathing, the oxygen within, that create the fire, the energy that you need, that make her a lot more attached to know a lot more in tune with her natural self, right? So what about her diet? what she eat, and what if she's got some problems after childbirth, and she not too proud of our breasts and our stomach. What if she's falling out of shape, and in how she deal with these things? How does a woman deal with her these issues that woman face, her whole body? What does she eat? How does she recover from childbirth? How does she recover from her various cycles and vibes and energies that the woman go through? What are these issues, and how does she deal with them?
Well, firstly, if she's just giving birth, she's going to be breastfeeding. And when you breastfeed, your stomach naturally contracts. So you're naturally getting that contraction going on just by the baby sucking.
Okay.
And when the baby's not sucking, you can continue to contract your stomach and move that muscle. Move your pelvic, the whole pelvic area, the whole uterus. You should be able to move that. Like it's a muscle.
Okay.
So use it as a muscle.
Okay.
Like people move their butt cheeks, you're supposed to be able to move your womb. And that goes with the Kegel exercises, the yoni eggs. The yoni eggs are made from mineral stones from the earth, like rose quartz,
Okay.
obsidian, emeralds, those different type of gems. And it, it forms the birth canal and keeps it in shape and keeps the muscles strong. Keeps the uterus and the pelvis healthy. There's a lot of methods that a woman could do after childbirth to get her stomach back flat, and to tighten the womb back again. You definitely would have to take a hot steam bath with herbs and spices. And it's like you sit over a hot steam tub, and the steam is going into the vagina area, and it's cleaning out the womb. So you can have herbs like sage, frankincense and myrrh, rosemary, thyme, parsley. You can make up your own little herbal blends, or you can order from some sisters. Sometimes I know that they make their own herbal blend, and you can order it from them. They have like a goddess blend and things like that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So can the sisters contact you, yeah? If anyone can't remember these things and don't know where to find them, can they contact you to get this guidance? Because we want, really and truly, this is RasTafari Unity. There's a caller. We're going to bring you in a minute. This is RasTafari Unity. And obviously, I is doing this program because I work for Rastafari. I care about Rastafari, and I want to see Rastafari progress. So, I don't want to see Rastafari lacking in anything, and that's why I want to bring on the leaders to offer guidance and offer that point of contact where women can get more in depth, or people in that zone, or whoever I interview with or reason with can, more or less extend their knowledge to others, or their works, or maybe others can join in and assist. So, all right, I'll get you straight. The woman after childbirth, she has to more or less embark on some pelvic floor exercises that heals her up well. Also, her breastfeeding is what also helps to contract the belly, make it flat, and the pelvic floor helps to to tighten up certain parts of the woman that she wants to be tight. And so, what about the extended diet of the woman? Is there some particular foods where resonate with the female energy more? Is there some particular herbs or any kind of way of life that is just unique for the royal empresses of Rastafari and princesses? Is there anything unique, like, for the woman specifically? And then we're gonna bring in, after you answer this one, we're gonna bring in the next caller, 071. Okay.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I would start with the Star Jasmine Vine Bush that I actually make tinctures and I sell those dry leaves and fresh leaves. That is definitely a womb tonic. That deals with the pelvis, the uterus, everything I just mentioned. And it does other things too, but it is also a womb healer. Avocados is shaped and it grows. Takes a 9-month process for the avocados to be fully groomed before you can eat it. And then it also shapes like the womb as the child is inside the mom's belly. Eggplant, same process. The American pear or barlet pear, shaped like the womb, the figure 8. Infinity standing up.
Oh, lovely. So what about the woman? The woman always... Go on, sorry, that got you?
Yes, I was just going to say blue vervain or blue vervine.
Okay.
That's also a product that women should have growing in their yard if they live in a warm climate all the time.
Yeah.
That's another plant that straight goes to your womb, deals with the womb issues. The purple flowers, you can eat the purple flowers. They're edible, and they also have a little sweet taste to them, a bittersweet taste.
Oh. Well, this is very interesting, Carl. I don't know. Yeah, listen, I want to ask you now. And I'm gonna bring you in, Carla. Don't worry, right? We have a little bit of time on the live feed, and even so, I'll extend it a little bit beyond the live feed. And so yeah, the question is this. So women, they obviously love to have their skin order and their hair in order, their nails in order. I know diatomaceous are good for skin and for hair and nails and teeth, but beyond, let's say, diatomaceous earth, right? What is it that the woman now need to do for her lovely skin? The Rastafari woman, the royal, the example, the pride of Africa, What does she use for her skin and her hair? What do you recommend? What products? I mean, I've heard you mention some sisters having products, and I think this is a good time for us to just touch quickly. What is it that the Rastafari woman needs for her skin and her lovely Congo?
Coconut oil, rosemary oil, peppermint, tea tree.
Okay. So these are specific for the woman, yeah? Nice and so
yes, that's
peppermint.
definitely with a mixture of coconut, rosemary, peppermint, and if they know of some other jojoba oil, if they know of some other essentials they want to add to it, they can. But I can tell you that rosemary, tea tree, coconut oil, thyme. People don't know thyme is good for hair growth, and it also deals with the brain function.
Well,
if you have a coconut oil thyme blend, and put your hair, that's good for your hair. If you have coconut, thyme, rosemary mixed together, coconut, thyme, rosemary, and something else, peppermint, yes, those are good blends.
So, I'm going to get a little bit bright
right
now.
off my head.
Okay. I'm going to get a little bit bright and feisty, and I'm going to say, if I was to say to the Rastafari women then, especially the ones in a relationship, the ones them in a marriage, like, to take Damiana Leaf, what would you say about that? If I said recommend Damiana Leaf or Damiana.
Dandelion?
No, Damiana.
Damiana?
Yeah.
What is Damiana? I don't know that.
Damiana leaf. Well, that is well to be frank with you, Damiana is is a herb which is like a aphrodisiac. It's like it's good for both men and women still. But I was just being fresh and saying that women in because it's been known like Damiana and ashwagandha, things like that. They Damiana is spelled Damiana, right? Damiana and ashwagandha, these kind of make you a bit more happy, a bit more loving in some
like
ways.
kava.
Yes. So there's certain things
like
that can bring
kava.
a bit of joy in a relationship, bring a bit of if you have some bad mood and all the time and thing, warm to the Primrose Island, the Damiana leaf and the ashwagandha for the woman them too. And sometimes, as a male, the male they might even just drink the Damiana themselves with the tincture and now I'm not offer none to the Empress. You get me? So me assess still, and I'll be a bit bright and recommend that, maybe woman, to bring a bit antidepressant. If you're in some depressive mood, you can try, Damiana and ashwagandha. There's even the Saint John. What is it? Saint John something. But yeah, I was saying
Saint John's
like
what?
Saint John's. I can't remember the other herb, but anyway, Saint John something.
Is it Saint John's what?
Yeah, Saint John's wort. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and some of these things can bring a bit of antidepressant vibes, to the table. So sometimes people might feel a bit down and out, and then what it is they can have a look at herbs as well. We can uplift the vibes differently, make you feel a bit more, take away some of the depression. Cause Bobby rang tough for everyone, and we know that. And sometimes the pressures of life, even make people war against each other. Cause some of the domestic violence too, right? And so when we getting all down in mood, I think sometimes it's a good thing to take out some uplifting herbs and some herbs that give you good vibes, But that's just my little 2 pence still in the woman's world, and I think some men would probably, some of the kings them would probably appreciate it, if the Empress would have some of them herbs that will uplift the vibes and the energy. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, well, you see, the Star Jasmine Vine Bush does that. It puts you in that calming, sedative type of state of being. It's different from when you smoke marijuana. You got that feeling. But when you're drinking the Star Jasmine Vine Bush, it's even double that feeling of if you think you smoked a herb or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just puts you into that state. It puts you in that state of being. The soursop leaf, it does the same thing too, but Star Jasmine Vine Bush I find to have the most effects on what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I recommend that all the people who've been trying to call in and never get a chance to say something, I recommend that now is the time to call in. We have only 5 minutes left on the live feed, basically, and unless they log in before this live feed finish, then obviously they won't have a chance to log in again. But before the live feed's up, I want to talk about what do Rastafari women think about organize and centralize. I mean, that's been a long standing thing that Rastafari overstand that is our mission. Like it become the forefront, since His Majesty visit Jamaica and reason with some of the elders, and obviously in our own self-realization, we know that united we stand, divided we fall. So if Rastafari is in a state of disunity, obviously we shall fall. So what I'm asking you is, how does the Rastafari woman, view this organized, centralized energy, vibes, slogan, rhetoric, or how do they view it?
I view it as something that we should never give up doing, but we really need to understand what organizing and centralizing is. And we can't keep talking and no action. We've done a lot of talking. We can talk for hours. We've done it. But if we're not putting that into manifestation and actually making those plans work, then we're just going to be another generation of talkers and no action and creating different organizations and doing this and doing that, but still never really getting to the point. So it's time to just get to the point, and that's where I know me as a Rastafari woman and Rastafari sister that I know feel the same way too. We really need to organize ourselves more correctly than what we're doing. We need more sister circles. We need more unity, no cliquish circles, talking about real unified unity. So now we got a socio-economic partnership going on with one another, and we seeing our money circulating and our businesses is circulating. We're creating more businesses upon other businesses, like a bubbling effect. We haven't got to that mindset yet, evidently, but I know we can get there. Never say never, but I feel like we need to start soon, because we're drifting more away the more we just sit around and keep talking and don't do anything about it. That's another reason why I started the Real Radio Talk too, because maybe that could bring cut that gap and bring the bridges together. And then as we network and ones are meeting each other, and you never know. And I'm glad I did, because I'm meeting ones and making links and stuff like that. So it's all a blessing in its own little disguise, but we got to do bigger than that. That's just Blog Talk Radio. We're supposed to have our own airwaves. Like when you're in the car driving, you hear the radio. We're supposed to have our own community centers and our own hospitals and libraries and, conference meetings that we hear, meeting up like sisters. Queen Mothers is in the house. Priestesses is in the house.
All right.
From comedic, comedic priestesses, Rastafari woman priestesses. It's just all love. It's black love. But we're not even operating on that frequency right now. We're not. Only a small few is. So I'm fine with the small few that is. I'll just magnate myself to the small few that is. I have my light no matter what. If it's not meant to be, it's not going to be. But I know that there are other ones out there that is of like mind. And we're going to attract each other. Light's going to attract light. So we're going to do it. It's just probably going to be on a smaller scale, and only a small few are going to see it and benefit from it and be able to be pleased from the results.
Are you willing to commit to Rastafari Unity?
Of course. I've been doing it ever since. Everyone is, and to their own little degree. We all are. That's why we can't discriminate in dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why we still doing what we're doing and dealing with it. Regardless if it's going to stop us from getting the job, we're going to burn our herb, because that's Rastafari. Most Rastafari burn herb for their own sacramental reasons.
Well, sister, I'm telling you, it's been a joy reason with the eye, and I'm gonna invite you to come back on this program at a later date. I'm going to check up on how the book is going, and I want to check up on how the networking is going with Rastafari women out there. And we have about 20 seconds. Can you just throw out your email or something, some kind of link, so that
my email
women can find.
It's simple. Yes, it's simple. Happy Media, HAPI Media @gmail.com, and I'm also on Facebook. Nigist Barak, a.k.a. The contact number is 305-791-0709.
Yeah.
That's how you can find me.
Well, that sounds excellent. I think the program has ended. I think that this program is ended. I don't see any more time left on it. So, big up yourself.
So what happened to the caller?
The caller them keep dropping because we put them on hold. They keep dropping, so the caller them gone. And I don't know if this is still recording. So it doesn't look like it is.
Yeah, it's
so
still
I think
recording.
Well, I don't see any dials moving.
It's still recording.
Which,
no one can call in. That's the only difference.
Okay, so in wrapping up, is there any issue that, like obviously, Rastafari has been facing problems, the family has been facing problems, and the community has been facing problems in unity. Is there anything that gets to you, and that really you can see as a very serious issue that's probably causing majority of the issues that we face? Is there anything that you really touches you that you might want to mention now on the air?
I mean, yes, that's a
solution.
that's a book. That's a whole book right there. That's a book in itself. Please, so much slackness, please. But I don't want to sound like I'm sitting here judging.
No, man, just burn the fire. The eye is taking leadership, and I want to hear straight up. You understand? Because obviously, if the leaders and the current who are educated in Rastafari don't speak and say boldly what they consider right and wrong, then there might be a little bit of confusion. Some people might think, yeah, I can do this and I can do that. I can be slack. I can be a little bit this and I can be a little bit that. So tell us straight what it is that the higher say.
All right, I just feel like all the musicians, all the ones that have a finance to start investing into having our own farming, whether it's going to be in the Caribbean, Africa, we can have a network going on. It doesn't matter. It can be in both places. Pool our money into the right areas. That's going to benefit us as a nation of people, no matter where we are in the world. Because the Chinese and the Indians and the Asians seem to have that down pat. Okay? They seem to know it.
Okay.
And we seem to forgot it, as if we never were business owners and had a black Wall Street. We forgot who we were, where we come from.
Okay.
Because we don't have that mindset that they had back then. Yeah, exactly.
Keep
so,
it.
Yes, that's definitely
it's supposed to circulate in our community. So you're saying that it's supposed to circulate, our economics must circulate in our community quite a few times before it even leaves.
At least 6 or 7. Yes, at least 6 or 7. Because in the Jewish community, that's how much it circulates.
Okay. All right, that sounds like a wrap. And true, me don't know if it's a recording. It's bite as well. I just end it right here, niggas. So, I did one point that you mentioned though about slackness. Stop the slackness. Yeah, so you can see that some people have stepped across the boundary and maybe degrade the woman and speak in a certain manner and address certain things in a certain way that the woman them find slack and out of order. So I guess that message them I gotta just echo it and make on the RGC radio with Barak speaking, just to make everyone know. So listen, the Empress them don't like the slackness, and them don't the real wife material. The Empress them Rastafari woman, no too love the slackness, and them want the item to just be more mature about the thing, and be more upfront with the thing, and be more royal with the thing, and I hate that. So respect and honor to the woman them, and Nigist, more life. I'll be checking up on you regarding Rastafari Unity and regarding your progress in RasTafari, Organize and Centralise, and also the progress of your works and that book. All right?
Yes, give thanks.
So thanks for joining in, yeah?
And give thanks for having me. Blessed love.
No problem. Bless. I'm out, people.
Rastafari bless and protect the woman, them, you know. You know, there's a lot of woman anthem out there. And I just a compare and I humble fly. Give thanks to life. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak, yes for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak, yes for you. Tell the woman them rise. Don't you go down inside. Fool yourself a purchase pride. Don't you go drown inside. Yeah, I'm looking in her eyes. Empress has trodden it wise. This love where she bring can I bring some strength to the king and she warm and she cool and nice. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak, yes for you. This is my woman anthem. I sing this one for you. Beautiful you are. Barak, yes for you. I know you get a bad name from them Bible. Them the woman.
Napa know-how. A Napa guy knows more isn't always better, unless we're talking about full-size vans. These beasts do more than get you from A to B. They have so much space a man can live in it. With shag carpeting, waterbed, and a sweet lava lamp, these mobile abodes have all the comforts of home. With quality parts and plenty of Napa know-how, you can keep the original tiny house running longer, stronger. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how.
Hi, you've reached the High Fashion Hotline.
Hi, my family's going to a picnic, but our clothes are stained.
That's quite a pickle.
Ketchup, actually. We want to look amazing.
Go to Old Navy.
Old Navy?
Yep, right now get up to 50% off all tees, all tanks, all shorts, and all dresses at Old Navy and OldNavy.com.
All up to 50% off?
Yes, get tees and tanks from $6 for adults, $5 for kids, and dresses start at $15 for women, $10 for girls.
Hey, everyone. We're going Old Navy.
High Fashion, Old Navy. Valid 6/21 to 6/27. Excludes clearance jewelry, active, flat tees and tanks, licensed, and men's package tops.